So there's a lot of different cases on Amazon. So these are the 11 best-selling cases for your S23 Ultra. All of these cases and all of these screens are in the budget line. So no case here should run you over $30. Actually, outside of one case, all of these cases should run you just about $20, which is in great contrast to what you would get if you order the case from Samsung or you get something more expensive. And we're gonna showcase them to you and we're gonna let you decide which case is the best for yourself, but we're also gonna do our own independent testing all together with a S23. Let's check them out. So all of the cases were ranked in terms of grip, buttons, corner protection, how well it protects the screen, how well it protects the screen on the top and bottom lip, how well is the camera protected, is it a magnet for fingerprints, how easy is it to install or remove the S23 Ultra, what's the fit, and is the S Pen easy to use, easy to remove, and easy to put back. So let's take a look because we got a lot to show you. So first up is going to be the Spigen Ultra Hybrid case. Now it comes with the air cushion technology, but most of the Spigens do come with that. And that just means it has kind of like an airbags on the corners. So this is going to be more drop resistant. And this is military grade drop protection. I know a lot of people have different concepts of what military grade drop protection means, but that just basically means I'm 6'4". If I drop it from about my shoulder height, it shouldn't break at least the parts that are protected by the case. And this is the box it comes in. It is infused with blue resin, so that means it's not going to be yellowing, and it comes with raised edges. And you'll notice a trend. We're going to really specifically focus on how well does this protect the phone, including on the edges. It's wirelessly charge enabled. We tested all of our cases. All of them work with your wirelessly chargers, and this specific Spigen is made from a blend of polycarbonate and TPU for durability. If you remember, for our Google 7 Pixel Pro test, the Spigen Ultra Hybrid was my favorite for clear cases, not for the iPhone 14 Pro Max though. So in terms of weight, it's 37 grams, which is pretty lightweight. It's not going to be the lightest of the group, but it is solid. The grip is an 8, the buttons are clicky, and an 8. Corner protection is good at an 8. Side screen is going to be a 7. I do wish they gave additional height on the side lips, but that's okay. Top and bottom lips are going to be an 8 because they are raised. Your camera bump is going to be very protected because these cutouts are great. That's a 9. Fingerprints are 8. It doesn't really attract that many fingerprints. The fit is an 8, but the install and remove is a 6 because of the material. It's a little bit on the denser side, so when you try to remove your S23 Ultra, it might get caught or you might have to put more force than something like a silicone case. And overall, we gave it a score of 8 out of 10. And this is the Spigen Tough Armor. It is one of their marquee lines. And I remember from our reviews for the iPhone as well as for the Pixels, the issue that I had with this was that on the previous models, it was not as grippy as the others. However, Spigen has updated their material, so this is going to be less slippery than before. So how do we grade it? Well, it weighs 55 grams, so it's not the lightest of the bunch, and the grip is a 6. Even though they improved the grip, I still wish the sides were stickier. And the buttons are a 6 because the buttons actually are very smooth. It's hard to separate what the plus and minus buttons are for the volume control. The reinforced corner protection gets a 8.5, and the sides and the screen on all 4 sides are going to be well protected because they are raised on all 4 sides. The reason why it is a lower score than the Spigen Ultra Hybrid is because this specific case is meant to be full protection. It is not a clear case. It's not something people just throw on their phone. It's meant to protect your phone. And you're forced to really buy the Spigen Easy Fit Optic Pro lens protector to protect your camera. And the fit is an 8 because it's very simple to get your phone inside of the case. The S Pen is going to be a 7 because you do need to press a little and use your fingernails just to pull out the S Pen. But I didn't find it was really detrimental to utilizing the S Pen with this case. So overall, it's a 7.5. And it's the only case that we tested that has this kind of responsive bounce back foam cushioning on the back. It's not very thick, but you can see as I press into the foam, it's going to start bouncing back and regaining its shape. This is a case that I was particularly excited for. This is the Spigen S23 Ultra Liquid Air. The Liquid Air has a textured back, so it is going to be more grippy than something like, let's say, the Tough Armor. So textured back here. The liquid air is made out of thermoplastic polyurethane, which is going to make it very flexible and easy for you to put your phone inside and out. You can see how it compares to something like even the clear case. And in the wild, it actually looks very good. I think it has a very slick design. It's relatively lightweight at 37 grams, but that lightweight comes at a cost. The grip is just going to be a 6 because this material is grippy, but not that grippy. It's really not that sticky. The buttons are going to be an 8 because the buttons are very clicky and they're very easy to find. And I think Spigen really did a good job just letting your fingers find the buttons for you. Controversially, we're going to give it a 6 for the camera because you can't use a lens. The case is so thin. I don't really see fingerprints is an 8 because it's pretty much impossible to get fingerprints on this thing. Install and remove is going to be a 9 because nothing's easier than a silicone case to install. The fit is a 9. It fits your phone perfectly. The S Pen is going to be an 8 because it's thin, so you could just press the button and your S Pen will come right out for an overall score of 7 out of 10. So this is Spigen's Thin Fit case for the S23 Ultra. This thin armor is quite strange. I will say they have this two-tone look, depending on which color combination. The top is going to be pretty stiff. This is not meant to be flexed too hard. You will snap the plastic or break it. So let's talk about the score for the Spigen Thin Fit. The weight is 31 grams, so it's very light, but that lightweight comes at a heavy cost because the grip is really a 5. The material here is extra slippery. The buttons are an 8 because it is still a thin case, so the buttons are still very clicky. The corner protection is going to be a 5. The screen and the top and bottom lip are going to be a 6 because the case itself is so flimsy, in my opinion, that I don't know how much I can trust it. The camera cutout is well cut out, and that's going to be a 6, but you don't really have space to include or insert a camera protector. The fingerprint's an 8 because the material is black and it's hard to fingerprint. Even if you get a different color, it's just a hard to fingerprint material. Install and remove is a 7. You can see how easily it pops in. The fit is going to be an 8. The S Pen is going to be an 8. And overall score is going to be a 6 out of 10. Because remember, we weight the protection and the weight and the things you care most about the highest over things like the install and remove and the fingerprinting. And I don't want to tell people to avoid the Spigen Thin Fit, but if it was me, I would say this is almost something you would want to avoid getting for yourself. So this is the Torras Moon Climber. It is diamond clear and it has a kickstand built in. So on the Torras itself, that's pretty much everything you get inside of the box. It comes with its own kickstand, so you can stand up your phone. And the kickstand is well attached. This is as crystal as any case I've ever seen in terms of the back. The back is going to be crystal. Now the sides are more opaque because they put this little microfiber dot material. And you can tell that because as I run my finger, it will make a scratchy sound. And if I run it on the back, it just makes a smooth sound. There is a cutout for your camera. It's not going to be individualized cutouts, but there is one large cutout. That's going to give you the ability to pair it with a lens cover. There is a really sharp line in between top and bottom, so you can feel the difference. They made the corners thicker and more padded. You can kind of gently see the difference right here, right here, right here, then even on the sides and the top lips. The Torras kickstand did not disappoint though, because its weight is 47 grams, which makes sense because it has the stand. Now the grip is going to be a 7. It's not the grippiest of all of our cases, but it's still pretty good. The buttons are going to be 8. They're clicky. Corner protection is a 9. Torras added a lot more cushions to the corners, so I do find they are more protective. On the sides, the side protection for your screen is not going to be completely flush, so your screen, if you lay it down on the table screen side down, the lips on the top and bottom will be raised, but the side screens will not be raised. The camera has a large cutout lip that's going to protect it, and you have enough space for a lens protector. The fingerprint is going to be a 7. It is not a magnet, but it's not resistant to all fingerprints. Install and remove is an 8. Fit is an 8. The S Pen is an 8 because this is still a relatively thin case. But my biggest thing that I wanted to point out, and that's just compared to the Spigen where they have the individualized cutouts, is that on your Torras, you can see on the corners there, that corner right there is going to be part of the micro dot material. It is not going to be part of the clear material. So it's not edge to edge in terms of The clear plastic is actually going to be going from 3 corners up until the camera bump. Here is our Torras Diamond Clear case. It is a 10-foot military drop proof case, and it utilizes micro dot laser craft, and that's what those micro dots on the side and on that left corner where the camera bump is, that's what it's made out of, and it has that bluish hue because it uses 2% Blu-ray molecular injection. It has very good protection for the camera because you can have enough space to add on a camera protector, and it is 2.5mm camera lip. The top and bottom lips are going to be 1.5mm. However, the side lips are not going to be flush or as tall as the screen on your S23 Ultra. In terms of our grading, the grip is a 7. I do wish it was grippier. The buttons are an 8. They're clicky and they do work very well. Corner protection is very good at a 9, similar to the Kickstand version. The screen side and the top and bottom are 6.5 and 8 respectively, because the 1.5mm top and bottom lip are very good, but the screen sides, I don't know why, but they're not as flush. The camera cutout is a 9 because you can use a lens protector, and it is very raised at 2.5mm. Install, fit, and S Pen are all 8s, giving it a score out of 8 out of 10. It still suffers from having one corner not being crystal clear like the entire back, because it is gonna have the same micro dot material as the sides, which I'm not totally against, but it does throw you off if you're a stickler for details. And I wish they put something on the plus and minus and power button just so I could find it easier in my pocket. This is the Humixx waterproof case. It is a 2-piece case. That means there's a top and a bottom. It has a 12-foot military drop proof design. It is IP68 because it's fully enclosed. It is a full body shock proof. It's made out of PET and TPU PC materials. It has front and back protectors. Fingerprint unlock works. It comes with a lot of stuff inside of the box, including a cleaning case, and it comes sealed. As you can see, there is weather sealing not only in the inside, but also in the charging port, as well as the
thorough job with a lot of fasteners to make it as protective as possible.
So let's talk about our grade. It weighs 70 grams. The grip is 8.5, so it is very grippy. The buttons are a 5 because it's pretty thick, so clicking on the buttons, it doesn't even make a clicky sound. I would say on all protection, because it's double-sided, it is very protective. The corner protection is good. The screen is going to be well protected. The top and bottom is going to be well protected. The camera bump is well protected because everything is pretty much covered. But fingerprints is a real issue here. It eats up fingerprints, as you can see just looking at mine. The install and remove, because it's 2-piece, is going to take longer, so we give that a 5. Fit is very good at 7, and I do think the handle will save a lot of different drops, even though the phone is well protected here. S Pen is a 5 because even though it's well protected, it is so hard to pull out the S Pen because it's so deep. But I think the main issue for me has to be the charging port. Because of how deep it is, and I understand it's waterproof, so it's very functional, but you really have to jam in your charging cable inside of it because of the waterproofing. So because of that, we give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. You do have to make a few compromises for all that added protection, but I think for value play, this is a very good value if you're looking for something very protective.
This Simtect case has a large cutout. Now, that's different from something like this, which has individual holes for the cutout. So the Simtect case, because of its large cutout, the material is clear, but it does have this like nano or micro dot type of dot all around it. The buttons here do not have a groove, but you would just feel for them. I do find that makes it a little bit harder to separate what is the volume up and what is the volume down button. The cutout for the camera is slightly raised. You can see that it is slightly raised here.
The Simtect clear case is very light at 31 grams, is pretty much coming in at one of the lightest, or if not the lightest in our group. It is a very flexible case. The grip is going to be a 7. I do wish it was grippier. The buttons are a 7 because they're so smooth, but your buttons will be very clicky. The corner protection is going to be a 7 because it is pretty well reinforced there. The side and screens and the top and bottom are going to be 6 and 7 just because the lips are not very tall, especially on the sides. The camera cutout is going to be a 7 because you have enough space for a lens protector, but it's not very raised. The fingerprints is going to be a 7 because it does attract fingerprints, not too much. Install, remove, fit, and S Pen are pretty good because of how thin it is, but you can see that micro dotting and you can see how cloudy it gets with a lot of fingerprints.
Not to be outdone, this is the Humixx Ultra Clear case. Now, Humixx and Simtect both come with the same boxes. Both are going to be 10-foot military drop proof, except the Humixx Ultra Clear comes with a little bit of difference. It has a 1% Blu-ray molecular injection. It has a 1.2 millimeter raised bezel. The case is going to be 1 millimeter thick. It has a 2.5 millimeter camera lip, and it comes with a camera and screen protector inside of the box. So all in all, the Humixx, in my opinion, is a better buy than the Simtect clear case, even though it is just going to be 1 gram heavier. You just get a lot more bang for your dollar here. And I'm just going to do a little demonstration to show you what they mean when they say micro.
So when you rub your finger on it, it's going to make kind of like a scrubbing noise, not like a smooth noise where your finger just sticks. So you can pair this with an insert here, and then you would just put your screen protector and stick that on, so that will protect your whole screen.
So the Humixx Ultra Clear comes in weighing only 32 grams. The grip is a 7. I do wish this was grippier, but in terms of overall protection, it is a solid choice. Buttons are 8, quarter protection is 8.5. The side screens are going to be 7 because it's not exactly raised enough, but the top and bottom, because it's raised so much, it's going to be 8.5. Camera is 9.5. It's very protective, including you got the protective cover. Install Fit S Pen is going to be 9, giving you an overall score of 8.75 out of 10. Case number 10 is the Torras Magnetic Guardian. It is MagSafe enabled. It is military grade. It has a 1.5 millimeter raised camera lip, 1.1 millimeter raised bottom and top lip, and it's made from a blend of PC and TPU material. Now, the one thing about it that I have to let you know is that it weighs only 38 grams, so it's relatively light, but the grip is not as good as you would expect. It does come with button templates that you can exchange the buttons for to change the design of the case, as long as you want to change the plus and minus and the power button. Corner protection is okay, screen side is okay, top and bottom protection is okay. I found all of those just to be okay. The camera bump has a thick lip, so the camera is actually going to be better protected, especially if you use a screen protector. Fingerprints don't really show on it. Installation, Fit S Pen, pretty much straightforward, very easy to do. But the biggest knock on this is actually going to be the MagSafe, because of how the camera bump is integrated in, you can see how the MagSafe, at least my MagSafe chargers, and I have the Apple OEM, I have 4 of them. None of them can fit flush on the case because of the camera bump. So even though it might be a strong magnet, if it's not flush, it's not going to have a strong connection. And last on our list is the Casekoo World Premiere. It is having 2 millimeter raised bezels on the top and bottom lip, and it has a 1.8 millimeter camera lip. If you're like me, I don't like having the camera corner having a black corner while the rest of it is kind of that translucent, whichever color you get this in color. The Casekoo was a middle of the road performer here. It was pretty lightweight. The grip is a 7. The buttons are a 7. The corner protection is 6.5. The screen protection on the sides is 6.5. The top and bottom lip do give it added protection there for 7.5. The camera lip is well protected, so that we're giving that an 8 because you can also install a cutout. The fingerprint is going to be a 8 because it's hard to get a fingerprint on this case. Install remove is an 8, fit is an 8, S Pen is an 8. But overall, I just think the Casekoo is a 7 out of 10. Because after so many generations of phones, you would have think they would have got this down. But they don't have it down completely yet, at least not all of them. Before we get to our final results, hit that follow button. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment box. Our next video is going to be on this, which is going to be the Samsung cases versus the OtterBox cases. So which was the best performer out of the bunch? It was close, but the Humixx Ultra Clear got a score of 8.75 out of 10. It just gives you tremendous value, especially with that camera protection. The Spigen Ultra Hybrid and the Torras Kickstand case both came in at 8.5. They're very good. So whichever case you choose to buy, I hope this video was able to help you save some money, save you some time, and save you the trouble of getting a case that you don't like. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is David with the French Glow signing off. Bye, bye, bye.